Incoming transmission.
Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 28th of November, and I've got a specky classic. Have a look at this one. Yes, it's Solomon's Key on the ZX Spectrum, a conversion of an arcade game of the same name. Let's put some key combos in here. Classic O, P, Q, A and space. Love it. Anyway, this was one of the first games I ever had on the Spectrum, Pippo being another one, which is actually on my review list as well. So let's get stuck in and tell you what it's all about. Well, basically you got to navigate these rooms, and you've got to get the key to open the door. At the top you can see there, and also the pick up the different bonuses for points as well, which is dead easy. This is a challenging game, I have to tell you. And it's pretty faithful to the arcade as well, actually. Pretty much spot on. One of the future back-to-back attacks is going to feature Solomon's Key and a couple of the different home versions. So obviously it won't include this one, because there's no point me doing a second Spectrum cover when we've already done it today. Anyway, you navigate the screen by creating blocks. Now, you are kind of like a little wizard character, really. And you can create these blocks any way you want. If you want to create them downwards, you just push down and your block button, and then you create a block wherever you want to do it. Now, here you've got to basically create blocks and remove blocks so that the bad guys fall through them. The difficulty, I would say, is manageable, and it cranks it up to a pretty reasonable level. It's not easy, so you need a bit of patience, and you also need a little bit of lateral thinking, because these puzzles, these screens are puzzles in themselves. So you've got to be able to sort out how you're going to get around the screen. As you can see here, I'm actually having a bit of trouble trying to get the bad guys off the screen without them hitting me. But there we go. I've done it now. So there you go. That's how you would get around that particular puzzle. Anyway, just to address you guys as an audience, I had my first thumbs down on a video the other day. That was my Slightly Magic review. Guys, if you're going to leave me a thumbs down, leave me a comment just so I can figure out what's going on. I'm very, very open to suggestions and feedback, as long as it's constructive and not abusive. But yeah, I don't mind thumbs downs, that's fine, but at least tell me why you're doing it, and then that way I can tailor my content. So yeah, but a majority of you, I think, are okay and happy with what's being produced at the moment, so thumbs up to you guys. Anyway, back to Solomon's Key. Again, this game it's fun, and I tell you, graphically I really enjoy this game. There's a lot going on the screen at one time, but there's not that much slowdown. I think you can probably see that from the video. Actually, there's quite a lot going on the screen right now. There's not a lot really that is slowing it down, yet it's very busy. Like, you can see all the bad guys on the screen, they're all moving, they're all animated, none of them are stationary, and that is just amazing for a Spectrum to do that. I might make the Spectrum sound like a weedy piece of material, but it really wasn't. It was quite a good bit of kit, and to actually do this game, and it's pretty much arcade perfect, I have to tell you. I actually went and played the arcade version after I played this today, just to sort of compare it, and I was blown away. The Spectrum did an absolutely fantastic job. Now you can see down the bottom that little sort of Frankenstein guy. He can punch the blocks away, so you can't sort of block him off and stop him, which is you've got to obviously get around him somehow. So obviously up and over being the key there. You can cast fireballs in this game, but for the life of me I can't remember how. So if you see me pick up a fireball potion and I don't use it, that's why. So yes. See, I'm going to try and use it here, because I just no, I just make blocks and I'll jump into the guy, because that's common sense. The downside to this is when you do lose a life, you do go back to the top of the screen or where you started, although progress is saved. So if you have unlocked the door, you don't need to find the key again. If you've rescued the fairy, you don't need to do that again. So it does remember your progress. I kind of like that. That's a nice feature. It could very well have easily just basically reset all of your progress together, and you know, some people don't like that. Some people would relish the challenge of doing it again, but once you have the key, you have the key. You don't have to go and redo that again. But you can see here that everything's really nicely animated, nicely coloured, and the details on the screen are very, very good. So the blocks look worn and sandy, and I quite like that as well. Some mobs will fire at you when they see you in their field of vision. So like, I think if I was down on the floor, that guy just above there shooting those fireballs, not the guy at the top of the screen, because he does it all the time, but the little dragons, I think if you're if you're like 2 levels below them, they won't shoot at you, but I can't guarantee that is the actual case. But each enemy group has a different movement set. You see the little they're supposed to be electrical sparks, by the way. They look more like sort of spiders, but they're actually electrical sparks. When I show you the arcade version, you'll see that, and you can see there those sort of alarmers. This is the best thing I can really compare them to. Those alarmers breathe fire on the blocks, and they do it every single time as well, which is great. So there's no sort of laziness going on with the code. They could have just headbutted the blocks and that would have been enough. But no, they're actually doing what they do on the arcade, and that is to breathe fire and eliminate the blocks. Now, this is an odd screen because there's actually nothing going on. You can just go and rescue the 2 fairies that you can see up there, and then just go to the exit. There's nothing to stop you here. It's kind of more of a bonus stage, I would have said. But again, the layout's great, and I can't fault the design. They've absolutely gone with the arcade and made it as faithful as possible. The mobs in the game are absolutely down to the letter what you will find in the arcade version. The screen layout is exactly the same as you would find in the arcade version. It's absolutely brilliant. As I say, this was one of the first games I had on the Spectrum, along with a couple of others. I just landed on that, was bad. I had the Horizons pack, as I think most people did, with the ZX48. I think I had Hunchback 2, Solomon's Key, and Pippo were some of the first games I ever played on a Spectrum, from my own version of it, of course. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. I could spend a lot of time on this game, had a lot of time for this game as well. Absolutely brilliant. I think I'm going to lose a life. Oh, there we go. Okay. That was fluky. No skill involved there whatsoever. But the thing is that this game does present a challenge, because you've got to navigate your way around. You've got to make certain mobs be able to behave in different ways, a bit like this one really, where you've got to make the electric sparks get out of the way so you can actually get up to retrieve the items. If you want to go for the bonuses, that's completely up to you. You don't have to get those. The key and the fairies are really the only 2 things that you must get to exit your level. But there's so many different levels on this. You can see here now I've got those 2 things flying backwards and forwards. I've got to get above them so I don't get hit. Now you can see now I've disrupted their pattern of backwards and forwards, because the one has been hit by a block and the other one hasn't. But you can see every time they hit a block, they destroy it. So, you know, they can catch up. Now here's that fire breathing guy. I think I'm probably not in the best area here. Nope, down the bottom. That's not good. I'm not going to survive this, I don't think. No, I just did my half. If I hadn't put that block there, I might have survived that. But yes, if you haven't played Solomon's Key, you need to. It's a good game, and it's very, very fun. And the thing is that if you like a challenge and you like a problem-solving game, this is the game for you completely. But anyway, folks, that's my time with this game. I will see you again very soon. Remember to like, share and subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. I'll leave you with a little bit more Solomon's Key. Catch you next time. Bye for now.